Hi, good morning. Am I audible? Hello. Very good. Yeah, very good morning. Right. So in the last session, we have seen like how do we create a TypeScript file uh, and how to work with the TypeScript file. How do we include with the HTML? Guys, just give me 1 minute. Okay.
The person you have called is speaking to someone else. You can wait or call again later.
ఈ బ్యాచ్ కి కొంచెం right. Guys, about the recording notes, Google Classroom, P, any other questions which are irrelevant to me that will get answered by that admin. I just call them. Most probably, like, admin will join today and he will give the reply on the top of it. Okay. And my responsibility is to deliver like, the best subject. And apart from that one, any non-technical related things will be taken care by that admin. And we will come to know like very soon. Hello. Am I audible? Okay. Just now I spoke with like, the Naresh IT management. And we will be getting like, the admin details very soon. Maybe by end of the session, like we will understand. Okay. Who will be the admin and all. And for any non-technical questions, that means about the video links or demo link or notes, Google Classroom, or any other thing that you will be getting answer from the admin only. And my responsibility is to deliver like, the best subject. Okay. And I will give you the best. If you need anything more, which is relevant to your project level, then you're supposed to ask me. I'll explain you that. That's it. Anything apart from that one, non-technical, that you will get that information from the admin only, not from me. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Sir, for this Varun, for this question yesterday, I have answered already. Why we are not going to be used JavaScript, why we have used TypeScript. Sir, like, are you not able to understand what I'm telling you? I'm telling you one more time, admin number you will be getting by end of the session. You will get that admin number by end of the session. Still, like no one has joined as the admin, but I already spoke with the management. You will be getting like, that admin number very soon. Please bear with me, okay? And another question the people have asked me is, sir, why to develop another language TypeScript instead of including the data type in JavaScript? That will be enough. Why the language is going to be? Generally speaking, Suppose you people are getting, Siddharth, you are getting the data from the database. Just assume that because the data would be available on the database, and from the database you are getting a salary, something like, I'm just telling you as an example, one use case, one real-time use case I'm telling you. Suppose let's say I created a variable something like where x is equal to, I have a salary, I have an increment something like 1000. This is an increment that what I am having. And I'm getting the salary from the database. Until we get the data from the database, do we have any clarity of what type of data you people are having it on the DB? Tell me. Tell me. Obviously, no. That means you don't have any clarity on what type of data that you people are getting. So for that reason, maybe you created a salary, and this salary you're getting it from the database, and it would be something around, let's say, 10,000. Now you guys wants to do a calculation part to find the total salary. If that is a case, when I'm giving where total is equal to, general formula is going to be salary plus increment, right? As it is not supposed to be like, a particular type of data, then what happen, it will be become something like this. Because any data you can take, which is of type string by default. Understand? Which is of type string by default. Now, if that is a case, we have to do the typecasting. Suppose like from the database, if you are getting, let's say, a numerical data, then typecasting is not required. Then how you will manage if there is no databases? Or else if there is no data type, how you will manage the data? That is the problem that we are facing. Understand? So to overcome that issue only, TypeScript was introduced into the picture. Now it's not the first session, guys. It's the third session that I'm taking. Okay. Yeah. So that is the reason where, yeah, whatever. See, if you are doing unnecessary typecasting, that will be an impact on the performance, right? Banu, why should I unnecessarily do the typecasting? Either you can go with parse int or you can go with parse float, whatever it might be, that is unnecessary, right? Instead of doing that, what I can do, I can create a variable of a particular type, so that definitely we need not to go for the typecasting. We know that what type of data that we are getting it from the DB and what type of data that we are going to store. If that is the case, we don't have any issues, right? That is the main advantage. And not even that, slowly, once we start that object-oriented programming, once we start that object-oriented programming, I will explain you. I will explain you like how we can make use of the TypeScript when compared with the JavaScript. We will come to know. Okay. There are many features, but I mentioned here because I wanted to explain you everything in practical, not on the theory based. So that is only the reason where I'll explain you all these implementations very soon. Right. Now the first thing is going to be data types. The very first thing is going to be data types and variables. So we will be understanding what exactly the data type is and what exactly a variable is going to be. That is the very first thing that what we have to understand. Now tell me, what is a data type in general? Tell me, what is a data type in general? What is the purpose of the data type? What is a data type and what is the purpose of the data type? Come on. What is a data type and what is the purpose of the data type? Very good. So in simple terms, I can say that a data type is used to specify the type of the data a variable can hold. I can say simply a data type is used to specify the type of the data that variable can hold. Now, what is meant by a variable? A variable is a named memory location. A variable is a named memory location where the value is stored, I can say. So generally, any kind of software application, data is very important. Any kind of software application you can take, information or data is very important. We have to store that information or data into the variable. Otherwise, like you cannot even share that particular information from front end to the back end. If you can remember, I told you like, how the real-time applications are going to be. We have a front-end application, and front-end application is used to take the data and display the data, and the front-end application will connect with the back-end application, and back-end application will connect with the database. That means the scenario is going to be something like this. We have what? A front-end application. Front-end application can be anything. And then followed with what we are having, back-end application we have, and then following with the database, right? Yes or no? That means this is going to be a front-end. I can say it's a front-end application. And here this is going to be the back-end application. And maybe I can say this is the database. Just assume that. And here a front end can be built by using either Angular, or else maybe you can go with the React, or maybe you can go with the Vue.js or anything you can. And this front end application will be interacted with what? Back end application. Understand? The front end application will be interacted with what? Back end application that we are having. Right. Now you see a front-end application, whatever we are having, will be interacted with the backend. Now, what would be the backend according to the current industry? I'm telling you, maybe I can use the .NET based application, or maybe I used a Java based application. Maybe I can go with a Python based application. Maybe I can use a PHP based application. Like that, I can use any backend application. Now, this backend application will be interacted with the databases, something like SQL Server, or else maybe I can go with Oracle, MySQL, and also MongoDB, etc. That what I can use. So this is the real-time scenario, like how the applications will be. A front-end application will never directly communicating with the backend without having the backend application. That is how it is going to be. Understand? That is how it is going to be. We must and should have what? Front-end application is defined and back-end application is required, and then followed with the database. If that is the case, suppose let's say in my front-end application, I have a form. Okay, in my front-end application, I have a form, and I'm going to ask the user to enter username. Maybe I can give username. User will enter, let's say username as going to be XYZ, and I just wanted to ask the user to enter the password. Maybe user can enter the password as going to be XYZ, and I have a button, something like login, that what I'm having. So the time when user click on the login, the data, whatever we are having in the front end, that has to transfer it to the back end application or not? Tell me. Tell me, guys. Yes or no? It has to share that particular information to the backend. And in the backend, we created what again? Variables. Username is equal to, maybe I can say that XYZ, and also the password is equal to, maybe I can give XYZ. Now, whatever the username and password we are getting from front end to the back end, that information will coordinate with the database and verify whether this particular user is available or not. And then only we will be understanding, whether this particular username and password are correct or not. So this is the whole process. But in that process, whatever the data user has entered, I need to share it to my backend. And again, backend will take the data, share it to the database. But how this data will be transferred from one application to another application, that is the need of the variable. Understood? So the variable is something like, it is a named memory location. A variable is a named memory location which can be used to handle the data, which is used to maintain the data. That is the need of the variable. Now, when it comes to the TypeScript, how do we create a variable? In TypeScript, variables can be created with the help of 3 keywords. It's very important thing to remember. So in TypeScript, we can define the variables. We can define the variables in 3 formats, or else like 3 types. 3 types. The first one is going to be, either you can go with the var, and the second one is going to be, either you can go with the let, and the third one is going to be, either you can go with the constant. Understood? So that means we have 3 types. First one is going to be var, and second one is going to be let, and the third one is going to be constant. Now, what is the difference between var, let, and a constant, that we will be understanding, but the syntax to create the variable is going to be something like this. The syntax to create a variable is, maybe I can go with the var, and here I'll be writing a variable, and this variable is of having the data type is equal to, you're supposed to write the value. This is the syntax. Now I wanted to create a variable, maybe let's say employee ID. Now I can create an employee ID, and the type is going to be something like number, and value should be always a number. That's it. Suppose I wanted to create a variable, maybe for employee name. How I can do that? Var variable name and then data type is equal to, you can give the variable name, and I'm giving the variable name as going to be an employee name, and the type as string, and the value is going to be, let's say, Srikanth as the value. Understood? So that means in TypeScript, to create a variable, this is the syntax, and these are the examples that what I can say. Now here, what is the difference between var, let, and a constant? Very, very, very important interview question, guys, here. Understand? So the very, very, very important semicolon, like it's optional. So the frequently asked question, like, the first question is going to be FAQ1. The first question is going to be, what is the difference between var and let keywords? Var and let keywords in TypeScript. It's a very important interview question. It's a very important interview question at basic level. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a simple example how it would be different. Now to do that one, first thing is going to be, I have already created a folder yesterday with the name, maybe let's say full stack Angular, and there I created a folder with the name TypeScript. Now I just wanted to open this particular one. So how can I open it? Just open the Visual Studio Code. Okay, maybe you can follow this one and go to the file Okay, go to the file and there we have open folder is available. Open folder is available and in that go to the D drive and in the D drive we have full stack Angular and select the folder. I'm selecting TypeScript as the folder and save OK. That's it. Understood. Again, I'm repeating, guys. See here. So I'll open my Visual Studio Code. Okay. I'll open my Visual Studio Code and from here, go to the file, go to open folder and there select the folder where it is available. I'm having all that examples on my D drive and there we are having full stack Angular. There I have a folder with the name TypeScript and there you can select the folder so that automatically the folder would be open. Now here I'm going to write directly the TypeScript and there only I'll be executing without taking the help of HTML file also we can do that. How we can do that I will show you. Maybe till we complete the TypeScript understanding, we will be following the same approach that what I am following. Now I'm creating a file and this is going to be var versus let dot. And what is the file extension for the TypeScript? What is the file extension for the TypeScript? It's a TS. TS. TypeScript dot TS is the file extension. Okay, dot TS is the file extension. Now I'm going to write a simple function here to demonstrate about it. So I'll be writing a function and the name of the function is going to be, maybe I can write a simple function that is a test that what I can give. Okay. Now I'll have the marks where marks is equal to, you can create a variable. You can see that marks, which is of type number that what I can give is equal to, maybe I can give 33 as the marks. Now in place of 33, here you can see, okay, here you can see if I'll be writing something like with a double quotation. Double quotation means it's a string formatted value. If I keep my mouse on here, now you can see marks is declared but never used. It's just a simple warning message, but you see the error is going to be this one. The type string is not assignable to the type number. That means what here you can see, you can have that errors list here also. You can see that. What is that error we are getting? A type string is not assignable to the type number in line number 2 and column number what? 39 that we are having. Sorry, column number 9 where you can have an issue because I declared a type as going to be the number. Suppose if I'm not using the data type, you see, am I getting any error? Am I getting any error? Obviously no, because JavaScript is not having the data type, but TypeScript is having a valid data type. So that is the reason where we must have to give that particular value. Don't give a different value. Understood? Don't give the different value. Now what I want to do, I'm creating another variable. Maybe another variable is going to be, let's say, var result, and the type is going to be string that what I can give is equal to, and I'm giving the value as going to be pass. I'm giving the value is going to be pass that what I can say. Now, if I'll write a simple condition that if the marks is going to be, okay, if the marks is going to be, let's say, less than 35, then what I can do, I'm going to write something like var result, which is of type string, is equal to, let's say, fail. Understand? I'm going to write something like this, var result, which is of type string, and I'm giving the result as going to be fail. And then I'm going to print these two values. So how can I do that one? To print the value, I'm using console.log. Let's say inner if condition, inner if condition result. Okay, inner if condition result. Now I'm going to print that particular result here. That's it. At the same time, I'm printing outer value also, because outside of this particular if block, you can see we have the result variable is available. I'm going to print that one as well with the help of console.log. Now I'm going to write outer if condition result, outer if condition result. Now, how do we print that outer if condition result here? By using, I'll give a plus and I'm writing something like a result here. That's it. Did you understand? A simple program that I have written. There is no much complex here. First thing what I have done, I created a number type variable and storing a value. That is what value? 33 as the value. Some hard coded value I have given. And then initialized, I created another variable with the name result and the type is string and initialized with what? Pass. Now I'm writing a simple if condition. If the marks are going to be less than 35, then I'm giving fail. I'm printing that inner result. And if it is 35, I mean, normally like I'm printing the outer variable as well, right? And after this, what I want to do is I'm calling the test function here, save it. Now you see, this is a TypeScript file, right? This is a TypeScript file. Is it possible to execute directly the TypeScript files? Tell me. The first question is it possible? Obviously, no, we cannot, because TypeScript cannot be understandable by the browser and not even, the node servers also. If you remember the time when we discussed about environment setup, I told you about Node.js. You can see here what exactly the Node.js. Node.js is nothing but it is a server which will be used to execute the JavaScript either on the browser or individual generally. Mostly like it is on the browser, but also Node.js will provide an option to execute the JavaScript without having the help of the browsers. That is how it is going to be. Now, how I can do that one? So to do that one, what I can do, I have written a TypeScript. Now you can see, I'll go to my terminal. Okay, I'll go to my terminal. Just you can see here, observe like I'm using what Visual Studio Code, guys. And there you can go to the view and maybe you can go to the terminal. This is one option, or else you can go to the terminal. Maybe you can take new terminal here. By default, this terminal is pointing to what you can see here. It is integrated with the PowerShell. By default, this terminal is integrated with what? PowerShell. But we are going to use the command prompt, so that the first step what you can do is use CMD. Understand? Use CMD. So that automatically you can see this will come. Command prompt will come. Next step is going to be just to verify whether it is able to execute it or not. Now I am writing what? Node space. Now what is the file name here? Var versus let .ts if I'm using. Now you can see we have an error. We have an error because Node is also not able to understand anything. Node.js is a server which will be executing only the JavaScript file, not the TypeScript. That is where it is throwing you an error. That means syntax error, unexpected token, that is colon, internal compile. I'm sorry, internal compile function and compile extension, module load or some blah, blah, blah. Some error that we are having. So for that reason, the very first thing after writing the TypeScript, the very first thing is what? What is the first step? I told you to work with the TypeScript. I told you 3 steps. Step number 1, create a file with an extension .ts and write the logic that what you people wants to write. Okay, I have done that particular step. That means I created a TypeScript file and I have written a function inside that. I created 2 variable and following with what? I have written a simple simple if condition also inside it. Right. The step number 1 is done. If you can see, that is what I have mentioned in the last session. You can see that create a TypeScript file and write the required logic and save with an extension that is .ts. And second step is going to be compile it. Generally, practically, we call it as transpilation. Transpilation. What is mean by transpilation? Tell me what is mean by transpilation. A transpilation is the process of converting TypeScript into the JavaScript. Remember, conversion TypeScript into the JavaScript, that is what we call it as a transpilation. Now we have to do that particular one. So how we can do that one? Simply, I can go to my application and there you can give TSC. It's a TypeScript compiler space. What is the file name? Var versus let.ts I can give. Var versus let.ts I can give and say okay. There you can see a file would be created with the name what? JavaScript. Now observe the differences between these 2 files, guys. So you can see there what would be the difference here. Tell me what is the difference you observed here in between these 2. That's it, only the data type. Understand? Only the data type and very good Alekia extension. Here the extension is .ts and here the extension is going to be .js, and at the same time in TypeScript we have the data type, and when it comes to the JavaScript we don't have the data type. That's it. Okay, fine, let it be. Now I just wanted to execute this. So how we can do that? Simply now you can execute var versus let.js you can give and say okay. Now you can see what it is showing me. Inner if condition result is what? Fail. Here you can see in this example, inner if condition result is fail. That's okay. But once if it is assigned to the fail, is it modify the outer value or not? Tell me. Yes or no? Is it modify the outer value or not? That is the first difference. Understand? That is the first difference. What is the first difference? The first difference is going to be where can be used as where can be used. I can say simply where can be used as a what type of value? As a where can be used as a function scoped variable. Function scoped variable. That means inside the function, one time if you can create, then that variable can be used across the function inside different blocks. But the same thing, let can be used as a block scoped variable. Let can be used as a block scoped variable. Now you can see the same example. I'm not doing anything, just in place of where I'm using let, guys. See this, let result, and here also I'll be using let result. Now tell me, do we have any error here? Just what I'm doing, I'm creating a variable let string outside. That means let result of type string outside, and I'm giving the result as going to be passed. And I created a if condition, and there also I created another variable result, and I'm giving here it as going to be fail. Now you can see, I'll be compiling it and then execute. So the first thing, how do we compile it? Tell me, how do we compile? The commands are very important to remember. We will be compiling with the help of what? TSC space, and then file name. What is the file name? Var versus let dot ts I can say. Var versus let dot ts I can say. Now you can see when I'm compiling it, this is the one, and I just wanted to execute it. Node space var versus let dot js I can say. Now tell me what difference you observed here. What difference when compared with the previous execution and the current one? What is the difference? In the previous case, both the inner and outer, understand, inner and outer is giving what? Same output. But now outer is not affected. Outer is not affected. That means inner condition result, inner if condition result is going to be fail. But is it impacting on that outer value? You can see outer is having pass. No, why it is not going to be an impact here? Why it is not going to be an impact? Because with the help of let, any variable you can create, and that variable is available on that particular scope. That means I created a let variable within the function so that this can be used anywhere in the function for only one time. And here also you can see I have written an if condition here. Inside that if condition, this is one block, right? Another block here. In this block also I created a variable, and this variable, the result variable, is completely local to this one. Understand? This completely is local to that particular one. And again, maybe if I'm writing one more if condition inside this, that is local. That means every block, if you create a variable with the help of let, and that is going to be related to that particular block only. Understand? That particular block only. That is how it is going to be. That is where I mentioned here. A var can be used as function scope. That means one time if you can create it inside the function, that can be used inside the function, where if you can have any blocks there also it can be used. If you have like inner blocks there also it can be used. That means the same variable can be available within that particular scope. But if it is a let can create a new variable for every block. That is the reason you can see here when I'm open, you can see the JavaScript file now. See there what happened. Initially, we have a result variable as I created with the help of let. See internally what happened. Initially, the variable is going to be of what? Let result is passed. Now you can see inside the block, I created another variable, let result only. You can see here, I created let result only, but you can see, is it created result underscore one as a different variable or not? Tell me. See, in JavaScript, it is converting something like this. That means it is converting in, different variable. It is treating this as a different variable because in this scope, that variable, outer scope, different variable. Maybe outer, if you can write, that is a different, even though the names are same, with the help of let, you can create like, right. So you can create like, something like this is how it is going. Understood? Understood the difference between block level and function level? Tell me. Yes or no? Block level and function level. Function level means if you can create a function level, that can be used it in any block, and that can be created with the help of what? Var keyword. But if it is a letter, it can be used as block scoped variable. Understand? It can be used as a block scoped variable. That is how it is going. And the second difference is going to be, we can define var members, or else let's say var variables any number of times. We can define the var variables any number of times. That means it doesn't matter that like it should be for one time or two times, something like that. You can define any number of times, but let can be used only once within the block. Okay. Let cannot be defined more than once within the block. Let cannot be defined more than once within the block. So what does it mean? It means that you can see here, I created let result here. Maybe this is a block, leave about the block, and outer I'm creating one more time. Let's say let result, which is of type, I can say that string is equal to, I'll be writing something like hello. The time when I'm writing, you see hello here, it won't allows you. What is the error message we are getting here? Just read that. Cannot redeclare blocked scoped variable. That is the result. That means one time only you can create within the block. One time if you can define, then you cannot able to redefine it for one more time. You cannot redefine it for one more time. That is how the let works. But if it is a var, that's up to you. Any number of times you can declare, any number of times you can use it. That is the second difference. Understood? The second difference is going to be what we are having. We can define the var variable any number of times within the blocks. But when it comes to the let can be defined, cannot be defined more than once within the block. More than once within the block. Now, which one is like, good programming practice? Let is always a good practice. It is always a good practice. It is always a good practice compared with var. Var cannot be can't be a good practice. Now, why it is going to be? Because right now you can see it's a simple example, so that I have written around like 10 to 11 lines of code. Just assume that 10 to 11 lines of code I have created. Just assume like the real-time applications where you can have hundreds of lines of code. Now I declared a variable, something like, let's say, where marks is equal to 33, and I'm at like the line number 255. 255. Maybe I got some kind of requirement which is related to the marks. Then what I can do, I'm using where marks is going to be, let's say, of type number is equal to, I'll be writing, let's say, 35. Then automatically that will be an impact on the value that we defined at the above, right? Am I right? Tell me. Yes or no? Because var is allows you to create like any number of times, If it is a real-time application, already I defined it, let's say line number 10. And after that, I have written around 200 to 300 lines of code. We don't have any guarantee that we might create like, the same variable with the help of var. So how we can overcome that? To overcome that, I can use the let. Because if I'll be using the let, then it is not possible. That means you can see, if I'll be creating something like let marks, if I'll be using which is of type number or string, sorry, I'm creating of type string is equal to, maybe if I'm using XYZ, it won't allows me because, hey Srikanth, you already created a variable with the help of marks. Don't do that one. That is where it is showing me it's a duplicate identifier. It will throw me an error. Don't create it. But if it is a var, in place of that, if I will be creating a var and then I'm using something like marks as going to be some type that is going to be number, and I'm going to have like a number that is going to be 35. There you see, it is not allowing me. Understand? Var can allows me, but if it is a let, I can't. Understood? Clear now? Clear. That is the reason where in practical environment, in your real-time application development, a var can be is not a good practice. Always try to use what? Let. Let is always a good practice, that what I can say. So these are the three differences that we are having. Now, somebody is asking me a question that, Srikanth, what you are doing here? Nothing, guys. I hope like you people might have an idea about how do we write functions in normal programming, right? Because like you are not completely joined for this course as the fresher knowledge. You know what is going to be the function and all. Am I right? Am I right? Tell me. Anyone like, without having the knowledge on Java who are joined here, or without having like, the basic programming knowledge, anyone joined here? No, right? Definitely people are the people like who joined for this session. Those I hope like, you people might have an idea about with a very basic thing. Now I'm explaining the code here. I created a function and my function name is going to be test here. Test is my function. Now, what is the need of the functions generally speaking? What is the need of the function? A function which can be used to execute the logic. A function which can be used to execute the logic. That is where like, the functions are going to be. That is the main purpose of the function, right? Yes, very good. Like as you said, a function which is used to perform the action. A function which is used to perform the action. But unnecessarily, the functions will not be executed. Unnecessarily, the functions will not be executed. We have to execute the function explicitly. We have to explicitly execute the functions by calling them. Understood? That means we have to explicitly execute the functions by calling them. So for that reason, I have written some function and I have written some logic here. And to execute this particular logic, I'm calling the function here. That's it. Okay. This is the function. And what I'm doing, this is calling function. I'm going to call the function. And the next one, people are asking me a question that, Srikanth, what is console.log? What is console.log? Console is basically, I can say that it's a kind of like, that output window. Now here you can see, I'm having what? This is the console window. Understand? This is the console window. Or else maybe you can take the command prompt. I'll go to the location. I will show you that. Let's go to the D drive. D drive, full stack job guarantee, TypeScript. Now here I'll open the command prompt. See this? I'm open the command prompt, and here also you can see node space var versus let dot JS. If I'll be using, am I able to see that output here or not? Tell me, guys. Joshil, for you only. Okay. That means in order to get that output here, maybe on the console window, or else maybe on the terminal of the Visual Studio Code. Okay, two things. Maybe on where? On console window, or else maybe on the Visual Studio terminal tool, or else now you can see in place of this one. Okay, in place of this one, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to use the script here. SRC is equal to, I'll be writing var versus let. Okay, now I'm executing this HTML. See this, right click and go to the open with the default browser. Now you can right click and go to that inspect. At browser level, you see we have console, right? See that. Am I able to get the result or not? Yes or no? That's it. That means in order to display the result, not on the browser, but I wanted to display the result on some terminals. Either it is on the command prompt or else directly from the Visual Studio Code, or else maybe if you wanted to display in browser's console, then what you can do is you're supposed to write the code with the help of console.log. Yeah, document write also you can write. That's your wish. Document.write also you can write, but console, like, I habituated right mostly with console, because console.log will give you more clarity with respect to the debugging of that Angular application. We are going to do the debugging also, how the flow of execution is at that particular time. Console.log will give you more clarity when compared with the document.write. That is the reason where I'm trying to explain you with the help of console.log only. Clear na? Hello? Clear? Very good. So that is what I have written over here. That means, so the first difference is going to be, again I'm repeating just for a minute, observe that var can be used as function scoped variable, and we can define the var variable for any number of types. And var cannot be a good practice to create the variable, but when it comes to the let, okay, but when it comes to the let is going to be, okay, let can be used as block scoped variable, and let cannot be defined more than once within the block, and it always a good practice. Another one is going to be, okay, JavaScript supports var by default. Okay, JavaScript supports what? Var by default, but JavaScript not support let. After transpilation, it generate as var type. If you can see, even in our examples also, we have this as an example. You can see I created something like let result here, and here also let result. But once if it is converted into the JavaScript, did you find let in anywhere? Did you find let in anywhere? Tell me. Hello. Obviously, no. The let is getting converted into what? Var type. The let is getting converted into var type. That is how it is going to be. Understood? And the third one is going to be, we have the constant. I'll write a simple note here. Constant, constant, constant is used to define the constants, where the value cannot be changed, once it assigned. That means I have some value which you don't want to change it. You just wanted to maintain that particular one across your application level. That is what your requirement. Then at that particular time, you can go with what? Constant. You can go with what? Constant. Clear now? Any questions here, guys? Any questions here? Very good. Nice. Swami, please, I don't want to repeat. Okay. I already told you, once if the admin has created a Google Classroom link, then I will share you all the resources that what I am having. Okay. It's not like, my mistake. I already informed to the management, and we have like, one guy. I'll share you his number, guys. I will share you his number. Yes, I got his number. Okay, just message him. Don't directly call him, as we have, yeah, Pavan. Pavan is the name. 91541 56179. Okay, and his name is Pavan, and he will be taking care of like, anything. If you have, just you can you know anything. Yeah, I'm dropping. Just don't just give me 1 minute. Don't message me. I'll drop like, give me 1 more minute, please. 91541. Otherwise, I'll drop his number over here. It's 91541 56179, and his name is Pavan. He is going to be our admin. So you please contact with him for any assistance. Maybe like, the videos or audios or Google Classroom or anything, any information you require, you please coordinate with him. He will guide you through. But don't call him directly, message him through the WhatsApp. I guess like, that information. Okay. Rajesh, I'm showing you like, different possibilities. That's it. If you don't want, follow Visual Studio Code only. Why I am showing you this command prompt execution mean, somebody yesterday they asked me, Shrikant, can I write the logic with the help of Eclipse? If you are writing like, with the help of Eclipse, then Eclipse is having like, the command prompt terminal. Do we have the terminal for Eclipse? Tell me. Tell me, do you have it? No, right? If that is the case, where how you can execute it? We have only one option with the help of command prompt only, right? That is the reason. No, it is not possible, Pavan, to share like, complete notes with the help of chat box. Just please bear like, one more day. They will definitely create a group for us. I mean, Google Classroom link, and I will upload everything over there. You don't need to worry about anything. I never missed even like, one single session also. Okay. You just ask me. Original in the sense is these are the duplicate classes. Do you mean? What does it mean? This is class only, right? There is no demos at all. Whatever I'm explaining from last 3 lectures, that is completely new to you. Okay, that is completely new. There is no concept of demo here. Okay, cool then. Let it be. I'll continue. Now here, we know that like how to create a variable with the help of like, the 3 keywords where, let, and constant. Now, what are the different data types the TypeScript supports? First, we will understand that. Now, in TypeScript, generally, we have like, predefined types are available and custom types are available. Now, I will show you, I'm dividing them into 2 different types. The first one is going to be normal type. That means data types in TypeScript. TypeScript supports two set of data types. First one is going to be basic types. First one is going to be the basic type, I can say. Now, basic types are nothing but here we can store only, I can say, a single value. Here we can store only a single value. Understand? We can have a single value. Now, what are the different types we are having? Number is one type, and the next one, string, is one type, and the next one is going to be Boolean is the type that we are having. Understood? We have like, the 3 things. One is going to be the number, another one is the string, another one is the Boolean. And then number, it can be used to store the number with any type. That means, I hope in Java, if at all, if you wanted to store a value, we will be using what? Integer, float, double, character, Boolean, sorry, integer, float, double, or else like, let's say, decimal. All these are of type numbers only, right? Yes or no? All these are of type number, but we have it different types are available when it comes to C#.NET, or else let's say Java, or else Python. Anywhere you go, we have a different type. But here in TypeScript, a number type can be used to store any type of number. It doesn't matter at all. That means, let's say I created something like student ID. I created student ID, which is of type number. If I'll be defining, understand, is equal to, I can give, let's say, 100. In place of 100, I can give 100.23. In place of that, 100.23f. In place of that, 100.23, some other value. So that means it doesn't matter that like it's supposed to accept only a normal number, a number with floating precision, a number with a double, a number with a decimal. Any value is comes under the number only. Understand? Any value comes under what? Number only. That is how it is going to be. Clear now? This is an example. Let student ID, which is of type number, you can have the number. Now, the second one is going to be the string. It is used to store. It is used to store group of characters. Group of characters, I can say. And here we should understand one thing. To store the value, to store the value, we use Chives. The first one is going to be double quotation. The first one is going to be double quotation. I hope you know that double quotation, something like X, Y, Z, you can give. Double quotation. Next one is going to be single quotation. So how do we use the single quotation? I hope you know that. You can define something like that. And we have the third one, that is backticks. Now this is the new one which you people are having only in TypeScript. It is not available on the JavaScript. We will be using like the backtick syntax. Where you can have the backtick syntax, the backtick syntax, you can find below that escape button. You see in your keyboard below the escape button, you have the tilde symbol, right? And in the tilde symbol, you have this. Okay, you have the tilde symbol, and by using that also you can define. That means the first one is of type number. Number can be used to store any number with any type. Either it is integer, float, double, character, decimal. Okay, like that, any number you can store. Second thing is going to be the string. String is used to store the group of character where you can have what? You can store with the double quotation. You can go with a single quotation, or you can use the backtick syntax. This is the new one, backticks. Below that escape button, you can find it. And the third one is we are having Boolean. It is used to store either the true value or the false value. That's it. Clear now? Clear about these three? That means these are the very basic type. Here we can store only a single value. But at the same time, we have another one, that is complex types. Complex types used to store multiple values into the same variable, Shrikant, is it mandatory? Yes, of course. Because suppose let's say I have a drop down, guys. I hope everybody knows about the drop down, right? Drop down list. And you can see when it comes to, let's say, drop down will contain the list of items here. You can see here you have like list of items that are available. Just assume that all these list of items I'm getting it from the database and filling into the drop down. That means from the database till the front end, we have to get the data or not. See this? That is where in this scenario, we are not only sending the data, but also we supposed to get the data also. I have, let's say, the state information which is available here. Okay, state information. I have the state information where it contains water. Inside my state, I'm having different values. Let's say AP is one value, and then TS is another value, and then Maharashtra is the another value. Like that, I have different value, and at a single shot, we need to get all these values from back end to the front end, and in the front end, we need to store it in variable. Then how we can store? That is the reason where we supposed to have the complex types also. Now, when I say about the complex types are going to be three different types we have. The first one is going to be arrays, and the second one is going to be tuple, and the third one is going to be enums. Enum only, not enums. It's a enum. Enum stands for enumerations. Enum stands for enumeration. Now, what is meant by an array? What is meant by an array? Tell me. See, all these, I hope you people have already learned. That is where like I'm explaining just like, briefly. Very good, very good. Nice, 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 nice. Arrays are going to be which is used. Arrays are going to be which are, I can say, I'm sorry, which is used to store multiple values, which is used to store what? Multiple values, I can say. An array is a variable. An array is a variable which is used to store multiple values. An array is a variable which is used to store what? Multiple values, I can say. That is what exactly an array, that what I can say. And here, when it comes to the TypeScript, if it is a JavaScript, just do remember this point, very important. This point is very important. JavaScript also supports an array. Okay, in JavaScript, arrays will store any type of value, but in TypeScript, arrays will store only similar type of value. Arrays will store only similar type of values. That means JavaScript can be anything else. That's up to you. Any type you can store, that's your wish. But when it comes to the TypeScript will store only a particular type of value. So how we can do that one? We have two ways to define here also. We have two different ways to define the values. First way is going to be, you can say, maybe I can say array of marks I created, and which is of type an array, and what type of data you wanted to have. I'll be having the type as going to be the number is equal to, you can write the values. Now here, what is the type I have defined? It's a number type, so that you must have to supply that particular value. Understand? You must have to specify that particular type of value. This is one syntax. Another syntax is going to be, let's say, let AR of subjects, I can say, and generally subjects which is of type what? String, and you can declare with the help of array. And here you can see I created an array which is of type string array. I created a string array here, so that you must and should have only a string type of data, so that I can say C#.NET, or maybe I can go with VB.NET, or maybe I can say J#.NET. Like that I can have all the type of the data. Clear now? Is this clear? That means where we have two ways to define the arrays. Either you can follow the first approach, that's up to you in TypeScript, or else you can follow the second approach also. Anything is fine. We don't have any confusion, or else like we don't have any performance related issues as well. If you can follow like, one over the another. TypeScript provides two syntaxes, and two syntaxes among them, which one you will be taking up, that's up to you. Clear? That is what like, arrays concept. And the next one, we have the tuple. Now, what is meant by a tuple? Tell me, what is meant by a tuple? Tuple. See, as you know, if you can take, let's say, an array, and I'm defining it is of type number, so that I can have the numbers. If I'm defining it as type string, so that I can define the type as going to be string. But I have a requirement. I wanted to store my date of birth. My date of birth, I just wanted to store in the form of, let's say, 22nd, okay, July 1990 is my date of birth. Okay, is my date of birth. Maybe let's say 22nd July and 1990. Now I have a requirement. I want to store like, these three in one variable. Is it possible? Will it be possible to store like these three values, 22nd July 1990 into an array? Is it possible? Obviously no, because if I define a number, it should accept only 22nd and 1990. If I'm defining it as a string, then it is accepting only July. Then what about 22nd and 1990? If this is your requirement in the front end, if this is your requirement in the front end, then we are going to create a data type with the help of tuple. That means tuple is similar to an array, similar to an array. That means it is almost similar to an array, similar to an array, but the difference is going to be tuple is used to store different type of values based on the declaration, based on a declaration. That means one time if you can declare, then you must have to specify that type of values only. So that means what here, suppose let's say, as I told you, like this is an example. I wanted to store my date of birth. Then how can I do that one? Simply let, okay, I'm going to, this is also an array. Maybe I can create a variable that is date of birth, colon. You can write what? The data types here. So first, what type you wanted to have? I'll be having the type as number. Second, what type you wanted to have? String type. And third, what type you wanted to have? Number type is equal to. Now, the first type should be of what? A number only. Second type should be of what? String only. Third type should be of type number only. So this is what we call it as a tuple. Understand? Tuple, tuple, whatever. Okay, this is how it is going to be. I can say tuple is a similar to an array only, but tuple is used to store the different type of values based on the declaration. Based on the declaration. Clear now? Did you understand the difference between arrays and tuple? Are any questions here? Any questions here? Very good. And the last one, we have what? Enumeration. Now, what is an enumeration? I hope this you people know about it. Very good. It is a special variable. It is a special variable, can be used to store, named constants, named constant. Okay, yeah, universal constant or whatever it might be, anything. If you wanted to create that, there you can use it. Now, how do we create it? A simple example I will show you. To create this, simply we use enum, and then maybe I can say that result. Why? Because every time you people are created enumeration with the month, year, week like that, I created a result. Now the result is having obviously what? Pass, fail, let's say promoted, or else distinction. These cannot be changed, right? Once if you get pass, is it possible to make it as fail? Or once you fail, is it possible to make it as promoted? Once if it is promoted, then you will be under the pass category. Distinction. That means these are the named constant that you cannot be changed. That you cannot be changed. So to store like, multiple named constant into the single variable, there we use what? Enumeration. So like this, we have different types that are available. These are the predefined data type. I can say here it is a predefined data types in TypeScript. What are those? Two type, basic type, complex type. Now, when it comes to the basic, we are having what? Number, string, and Boolean. And a complex type, we are using mostly arrays, tuple. And then we have the third one, that is the enumeration. That is the enumeration that we are having. Now, all together, we will be starting a new example in next session. So far in today's session, any technical questions, if you people are having, you please ask me through the chat window. Any non-technical questions. The first non-technical question is, sir, what is about the recording videos? I don't have any clarity on that. I already shared you some contact number. You may please contact with them. That is the first answer. Sir, what about Google Classroom link? I'm not the responsible person to create the Google Classroom. Once if the classroom link is getting created, definitely I will upload the complete source code to that one. Okay, that is my answer. And third thing is going to be, okay. See, I already shared my screen. You can take the number. See this. It was there on the notepad. It was there on the notepad. Okay, you may take this. Any technical question, you please ask me. Other people may leave. If you don't have any question, that's it for the day. Thank you and have a nice day. Yes, this is the time for question and answer. Sir, when we store the database tuple, how we can take the value in the form of day, month, year? Same. See, whatever the type you people have defined here, the same type. It should be of here, like you can define it. Okay, here is the code. Is there any runner type option in Visual Studio Code for TypeScript file execution? We have we can set up that environment also, but that is not required because our intention is we are going to use the TypeScript to build that Angular application. Okay. So that is the reason where just if you understand the concept, that is fine here. No, those are the Vamsi, those are the declaration. To create the variable, we have the declaration where let constant comes under the declaration of the variable. How to open that console to check the error is there or not in Visual Studio? See, maybe you can see, let's say I created a variable man. I mean, generally like there itself you can get, but just I'm showing you. Just you can see, I created a variable, something like let result is of type string. One more time I'm creating is equal to some value I have assigned. Generally, if you can save it, and then you can just write a compilation tsc space. What is the file name? Where versus let dot ts if I'm using. You can see the message here directly. You can see cannot redeclare the block scoped variables. Yes, Hari, you can store. Manoj, you can see that. There you will be getting errors clearly. It will show you. Okay, the data types will take in program, but JavaScript cannot understand why you take the data types in TS. TypeScript is especially designed for the developer point of view, not for the end user. Developer come to know that, see, if I created a marks variable above, and if I'm recreating it, after 100th line or 200 line, generally, just to tell me, if I'm creating like that, then what will happen? It will modify that existing value, right? Yes or no? Instead of doing that, if I go with the latest one, that is the let in the TypeScript, that is developer friendly. Always TypeScript is like, which will make the usage of like, the developer job mainly, not like, end user point of view. End user point of view, whether you have written maybe in the JavaScript or maybe in the Java, maybe in the .NET, who cares about it? Tell me a simple scenario. What technology you are using, it doesn't care about the end user. If they open, whether it is opened or not, that should be fine. Why should I go with like all these things? I can go with simple PHP also, right? So that is how it is going to. And okay, somebody is asking me a question. Shikan, do we have any real-time application? IRCTC is the website, man, which was implemented with the help of JavaScript, sorry, Angular only. If you want, you can see, right click and go and inspect that element. You can find that NG version. Somewhere you can see this NG content, NG, see this app root is available, NG version. Now what version it is? It's 9.1.13. NG stands for Angular. Okay. IRCTC is the website. Can you again convert the TypeScript to JavaScript? We'll see that function scope and block scope. No, we are not going to develop any project as the part of it, but like whatever the things are like, required for you as the part of the training, that would be covered. Don't worry. Okay. Because function is also, yeah, that is a different block, right? That is a different block. Inside that you created a nested block. Maybe I can, for your understanding, I'm calling. Yeah, Bootstrap I'll include. I'll include the Bootstrap. I'll integrate the Bootstrap to my Angular applications. Don't need to worry about it. Okay. Startable code in TypeScript. Did we use any? See, like we are using CLI, Rajesh. CLI in the sense command line interface. By using that, you will come to know like how much short it is going to be. It comes with like, most of scaffolding features. So it will be easy even. We'll come to know like once we start about like, the Angular. Okay. Hello, cool then. That's it for the day. Thanks for joining, and we'll continue the same tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.